Good morning, wonderful Waypointers. We can do better than that. Okay, one's good. Now they have your intention. You came through there, the facilities are through there. My name is Francis, and I will be your MC for today. Thank you. I have a fan. So I'm going to be quickly taking you guys through the proceedings. Just before I start though, because I always forget this is MC, the guys on online church, welcome. Shall we let the people know that there are actually people here? There we go. Thank you, Dirk. I think that was Dirk. So I'm going to be quickly taking you through the flow of service. After this, I'm going to be taking you through the giving segment, which after that, we're going to be going on to some worship. We've got 2 songs that we're going to be singing today. After that, we're going to be going on to week 2 of Artisan Soul, which is an amazing series. Yes, we've got one more person that liked that series. I love it. Going to be going on to Artisan Soul. As I said, amazing series presented by Erwin McManus, based on his book, which is also an amazing read. After that, we've got a bit of a surprise. I'm not going to elaborate too much. It's a bit of a surprise. And then after that, I'll be back to wrap things up. And before I start by going into the giving segment, I'd just like to, celebrate this week that's just passed. Because we had an amazing conference called Blueprint on Wednesday and Thursday, and a lot of revelations were reached during the course of this conference. It was just absolutely amazing. And as a result of this, we had 10 baptisms on Friday. So that is really, really amazing. So it's just absolutely amazing. I've goosebumps thinking about it. So giving. I'd just like to start by saying what an amazing community we have. This morning at 6 o'clock we got here, started cleaning the venue, and a lot of the volunteers actually showed up earlier than they had to. And as a result of that, we have this amazing environment. I'd just like to celebrate those guys. It's absolutely amazing seeing these guys actually living like they're in a living relationship with God, and you can see it through their actions, and you can see it through how they talk to people, and it's just amazing being part of such a community. And that is one of the reasons why we give, because we do believe that it is better to give than it is to receive.
Hi guys, Scrum Buddy here for another episode of Scrum Buddies. This is the build-up to the weekend of the 21st, which is a rugby weekend. Now I know you're all very excited, but I'm here to find out, are the kids excited? So we are here to get them pumped, ready to go for rugby weekend. Let's go. Rugby weekend on the 21st of September. You know the gigs, like the local rugby team, they're going to play some games with us, but I'm not just going to. Today we are going to play potato, man.
Hey, as jy bokke nie nou wen nie, nee. Yes. Guys, welcome. I'm Tian. I'm not just a scrum buddy. I will also be part of the band today. We're going to sing 2 songs. And then we're going to have the message, and then after the message, there will be another song which was written by our own Waypointers. So stay tuned. Don't leave early. All right. Guys, I want to invite you to stand. And as you stand, just like look in your vicinity. If there's someone that you haven't seen, just give them a fist bump. Say, I'm glad you're here. Okay. All right. So the first song we're going to sing is Soul on Fire. And I'm sure after this week, with Blueprint and the baptisms, I'm sure there's a lot of you that would that can say that my soul is on fire for God. God, I'm running for your heart. I'm running for your heart till I am a soul on fire. Lord, I'm longing for your ways. I'm waiting for the day when I am a soul on fire. Till I am a soul on fire. Woo. God, I'm running for your heart. I'm running for your heart till I am a soul on fire. Lord, I'm longing for your ways. I'm waiting for the day when I am a soul on fire. Till I am a soul on fire. You restored the joy I had where I wandered, brought me back. In this darkness, lead me through until all I see is you. God, I'm running for your heart. I'm running for your heart till I am a soul on fire. Lord, I'm longing for your ways. I'm waiting for the day when I am a soul on fire. Till I am a soul on fire. You restore the joy I had where I wandered, brought me back. In this darkness, lead me through until all I see is you. Lord, let me burn for you again.
Let me burn for you again.
Let me return to you again.
Return to you again.
Lord, let me burn for you again. Let me return to you again. God, I'm running for your heart. I'm running for your heart till I am a soul on fire. Lord, I'm longing for your ways. I'm waiting for the day when I am a soul on fire. God, I'm running for your heart. I'm running for your heart till I am a soul on fire. Lord, I'm longing for your ways. I'm waiting for the day when I am a soul on fire. Till I am a soul on fire. Till I am a soul on fire. Till I am a soul on fire. I can only imagine what it'd be like when I walk by your side. I can only imagine what my eyes will see when your face is before me. I can only imagine. I can only imagine. Surrounded by your glory, What will my heart feel? Will I stand in you, Jesus? Or in awe of you be still? Will I stand in your presence? Or to my knees will I fall? Will I sing hallelujah? Will I be able to speak at all? I can only imagine. I can only imagine. Can only imagine when that day comes and I find myself standing in the sun. I can only imagine when all I will do is forever, forever worship you. I can only imagine. Oh, I can only imagine. Surrounded by your glory, what will my heart feel? Will I dance for you, Jesus? Or in awe of you be still? Will I stand in your presence? Or to my knees will I fall? Will I sing hallelujah? Will I be able to speak at all? I can only imagine. Oh, I can only imagine. Surrounded by your glory, what will my heart feel? Will I dance for you, Jesus? Or in awe of you be still? Will I stand in your presence? Or to my knees will I fall? Will I sing hallelujah? Will I be able to sing it all? I can only imagine. Surrounded by your glory, what will my heart feel? Will I dance for you, Jesus? Or in awe of you be still? Will I stand in your presence? To my knees will I fall? Will I sing hallelujah? Will I be able to speak at all? I can only imagine. I can only imagine. Yes, Father God, we can only imagine your full glory. But Father, thank you that right now we get to experience you. And thank you that no one is exempt from a relationship with you. No matter what we've done, no matter where we are born, no matter what language we speak, your invitation is always open. And Father, I pray this morning as we stand in your presence, that we would have the courage and the boldness, Father, to respond to your invitation this morning. Whatever that next step for us might be, Father. But may we grow in relationship with you more and more each day. And thank you for the message that we are about to hear. Thank you that we know that it is from you. And Father, as it stirs our hearts, Father, I pray that we would also start to see ourselves the way that you see us and the way that you created us. We pray it in your name. Amen. You guys can take a seat. last week, you missed a lot. We had my good friend Erwin McManus teach an amazing message on his book, The Artisan Soul. This is a book that will inspire you. I want to encourage you to get it and let it minister to you. He's teaching another message this week from the Bible on the very same theme that will bless you. I love Erwin with all my heart. His church, Mosaic Church in Los Angeles, is an incredible church. If you know people there, you'll want to send them there. This guy loves Jesus. When I grow up, I want to be just like him. Would you give some Life Church love to my good friend, Erwin McManus?
Thank you, Bill. It's great to be back with you guys. And Craig, I just want you to know that Mosaic in LA, we just consider ourselves really fortunate partners with Life Church. You guys are amazing. And I don't know if you know what you're doing here is affecting the entire planet. You're not only creating community for people in your local cities and counties, you're actually redefining for people how relevant Jesus is for the world today. And so I'm just really grateful for your leadership, and we would follow you guys anywhere. So I live in Los Angeles, and one of the unique things about LA is that LA is like an epicenter of human creativity. There are more artists in Los Angeles than any city in the world. And you would think, wow, LA must produce artists, but they're actually not from LA. They're from Michigan. And they're from Oklahoma. They're from Missouri. They're from the same neighborhoods and the same schools that all of you are from. Because there's a misconception about creativity and talent, that there are pools of creativity and talent in the world, and the rest of us just get to admire their greatness. But the reality is that every small town in America is proof that creativity exists across the world. Because what does it really take to be an artist? If you're like me, I can't dance. I'm Spanish, and I can't dance. I don't know how that happened. And I really can't sing. I'm not a musician. I've really never excelled at anything in particular. And I love watching talented people. I love celebrating them. And in fact, one of the things that people ask me all the time is, if you have a passion for something, why doesn't God make that happen in your life? Because sometimes you're just supposed to admire someone else. Celebrate their talent. Celebrate their greatness. Celebrate their beauty. But what I do know is inside of every human being, there are the essential ingredients of creating great art. That everyone's life is supposed to be a masterpiece, that everyone's life is supposed to be a work of art. But one of the things I've learned about art is that art is always expressive of the artist's soul. That you cannot create something authentically that isn't an extension of who you are as a human being. I remember years ago talking to this artist. He was incredibly brilliant and talented and also really tormented and haunted. We were sitting across the table, and he said, I'm having a hard time getting a job. And I said, why? And he said, because everybody who wants to hire me wants me to prostitute my talent for their own personal benefit. I said, well, what do you mean? He goes, well, they want me to create my art to promote themes that are not real. They don't want to deal with real human issues. And I said, well, what would be a real human issue or emotion? He goes, pain, anger, violence. Those are real human issues. I said, well, what do they want you to promote? And he said, things like happiness, joy, love. And I paused and I said, I don't for a second want to deny that emotions and human experiences like pain and sorrow and suffering are not real. Obviously, we live in a world of violence, a world filled with betrayal. But is it possible that human experiences and emotions like joy or love or even happiness could be authentic human experiences? And there was a long pause. And I could tell he was reflecting and thinking, and then he said, that thought has never occurred to me. And I realized the only reason he could create things that were reflective of darkness is because it was the only material in his soul. Everything that he created translated despair or hopelessness. It translated pain and disappointment. It translated sorrow and brokenness. And I realized as I've worked more and more in the world of artists that what an artist has to do is be authentic to who they are. But that doesn't mean that artists cannot create out of love, that artists cannot create out of hope, that artists cannot create something that's beautiful. What it does mean is that we need to have hope and beauty and love and life inside of us to create something real. If you saw Jesus as an artist, what kind of art would he create? I mean, what would be the reflection of the essence of Jesus? And that's why I want to take you to, I think, one of the more curious places where Jesus performs a miracle. It's Jesus' first miracle. It's when Jesus, turns water into wine. Now, this is the introduction, in a sense, of Jesus to his followers, that he is God walking among them. Let's look together for a moment. John chapter 2, beginning in verse 1. It says, on the third day, a wedding took place at Cana in Galilee. Jesus' mother was there, and Jesus and his disciples had also been invited to the wedding. When the wine was gone, Jesus' mother said to him, they have no more wine. Woman, why do you involve me? Jesus replied, my hour has not yet come. This is incidental, but I love the conversation between Jesus and his mom. All right? They're at a wedding. It's not even Jesus' wedding. It's not his family's wedding. It's just somebody else's wedding. They run out of wine. That's not Jesus' problem. But no, his mom makes it his problem. They're out of wine. He said, woman, what does it have to do with me? My time has not yet come. This is like a son saying, Mom, leave me alone. And I love what Mary does. She doesn't even respond to what he says. She ignores everything he says. Says, just do what he tells you. Because I'm his mother. And he's going to do what I asked. And by the way, this is Mary's only command in all the scriptures, do whatever Jesus tells you. It says, nearby stood 6 stone water jars, the kind used by the Jews for ceremonial washing, each holding from 20 to 30 gallons. Jesus said to the servants, fill the jars with water, so they filled them to the brim. Then he told them, now draw some out and take it to the master of the banquet. They did so, and the master of the banquet tasted the water that had been turned into wine. He did not realize where it had come from, though the servants who had drawn the water knew. Then he called the bridegroom aside and said, everyone brings out the choice wine first, and then the cheaper wine after the guests have had too much to drink, because then they're too drunk to know they're drinking really cheap wine. But you have saved the best till now. What Jesus did here in Cana of Galilee was the first sign through which he revealed his glory, and his disciples believed in him. Do you ever read the Bible and you think to yourself, this line doesn't fit, but it must fit because it's in the Bible? Or you read something, this doesn't make any sense, but it has to make sense because it's in the Bible. See, this last line doesn't make any sense to me. And this is how Jesus revealed his glory. Really? Turning water into wine is how Jesus revealed his glory, and he says, and his disciples believed in him. They didn't need much, did they? I'm thinking, if I'm going to open up as God, I'm not going to start with turning water into wine. It feels like somewhere between a miracle and a card trick. I mean, I would walk on water. That sort of makes me divine, don't you think? Feed thousands with a few fish and loaves. Call out someone's name who's been dead for 4 days and bring them out of the tomb alive. See, that is the kind of stuff you would expect from God. Turning water into wine, this is how he revealed his glory. I'm going, this doesn't make any sense. And I've read about this passage. I know there are ceremonial and religious and traditional implications in all this, but what about like the actual implications? He just turned water into wine. And is it really a huge human dilemma that there's not enough wine at a wedding? I mean, of all the problems in the world, you'd think this would be one that God would say, you know, I'm tapping out on this one. All right? You can handle this one. I'm here for really huge reasons. I'm here to deal with the brokenness of all of humanity. Fix your party. But I think there's something here that we do not want to miss. Because when Jesus takes them through this process of turning this water into wine, we learn a lot about Jesus as an artist. Because people ask me all the time, well, does art really matter? Does beauty matter? Does it really matter if we create something out of our lives? Does God really care about the small things in our life? And I go, well, let's look at Jesus' opening act. He turns water into wine at a wedding. It didn't change the world. It didn't end poverty. It didn't stop all the violence. It didn't end the wars. It didn't overthrow an empire and set a nation free. And so there's something here that we need to make sure we see. Oh, and you know how the story goes, right? He has them grab all these giant barrels that are empty, and he says, fill them with water. And then when they fill them with water, he says, all right, now take it to the master of the ceremony. And I'm thinking to myself, why did he have them filled with water? I mean, because if he can turn water into wine, can't he put water into empty barrels? Okay, you take care of the first half, I'll show up later. I mean, this is kind of one of those odd kind of things going, wait a minute, why does he have him fill it up with water? Wouldn't it be a greater miracle if he just, bam, water in the barrels? Look at that. But I'm not finished. But one of the unique ways that God works is that he calls us to bring what we have, so that when we bring what we have, he touches that and gives us what it becomes after it. He's been a part of that. But by the way, we didn't create the water either. See, this is the nuance of this thing, is that God created the water as well. See, God created the water because God, in his essence, is the source of all life. And so God created water because we need water to live. He sustains us all, whether we believe in him or do not believe in him, whether we acknowledge him or absolutely reject him. God provides water for all life. And so that water that they brought wasn't something they created, it was something God created that God had already given them. And that's the crazy thing about the way God works in our lives. This is the creative process, is that God's not asking you to create something out of nothing. He's asking you to take what you already have, that he's already given you, and bring it to him so he can do more with you and with that to make the world better. And so when God's saying, I want your talent, I want your intelligence, I want your passions, I want your discipline, I want your character, I want all of you, he's not asking you for something that he didn't give you. He's asking you to bring back to him and trust him with the very things he entrusted you from the beginning. See, all of us were like water, but we're like water that has not yet been put in the jar, given back to God. And then he turns that water to wine, but it's kind of nuanced. He doesn't turn it into wine and then they know it's wine. He says, now just serve it to the master of the ceremony. And so they take that water, and somewhere in there it becomes wine, and the master says, this is the best wine I've ever tasted. Why? I mean, everybody's drunk. Am I allowed to say that? Right? See, that's the implication, all right? Everyone's already had too much to drink. No one is really at the height of their awareness. They've sort of been dulled in their senses. So why provide the best wine? Have you ever felt like you've just wasted your best stuff on people who don't care? I mean, why would Jesus provide the best? Because every artist creates out of their essence. And God could never create anything that wasn't the best in the world. Now imagine the implications about you. That you're created in the image and likeness of God. You are a reflection of the essence of God. That material for creating is a soul, and you have been given by God a soul designed in his image and likeness, and everything God creates is the best. He never makes cheap wine, even if it will do. They would have been more than happy with cheap wine. They would have been more than happy with a lower grade quality, but you see, when God gets involved, it's always the best. And I love the fact that Jesus didn't sign his name on the barrel, wine by Jesus. You ever notice that that's what, Christians do? We make Christian t-shirts, human by Jesus. We put little fish on our cars. Running the red light by Jesus. We do all these things, and we go, and it's a Christian film, right? And it's Christian music, and it's Christian art, and we even say it's a church because we want to make sure that people know, right? Because if we didn't add Christian or add Jesus, they wouldn't know it's Jesus, because it's usually average. And in fact, I have to be honest with you, out in LA, Christian is synonymous with average. So when you say Christian music or Christian art or Christian films or Christian stuff, it just means average stuff or below average stuff. How did we get there when what Jesus does is always the best? He provides the best wine in the world. See, what we need to realize is that we need to bring God our best selves. We need to get up every morning going, God, I want to bring everything I have. All my passion, all my talent, all my discipline. God, I want to bring everything I have. I'm going to be fully alive in this moment, because what you deserve from me, God, is the best of who I am. And if all you have to bring is the water, that's what you bring. But you need to realize that when God is finished with you, you're going to be the best wine on the planet. And I love the fact that Jesus felt confident enough in what he created that they would want to know where the source was from. our community of faith, we took on the name Mosaic. And I had so many people criticize me because it wasn't Mosaic Church. It was just Mosaic. They go, well, are you embarrassed of being a church? I go, no. What I want to do is I want to prove we are one. Because, see, I don't wear a shirt that says human, just in case you're not sure. Right, I'm not a giraffe. I don't have to, because you perceive and you feel and you touch and you see and you realize this person's a human. See, what would happen if we said, we're going to let the quality of our lives, the quality of our work, the quality of everything we do, we're going to make it so extraordinary. We're going to be so committed to being the best of the best, to be the best teachers and the best architects, to be the best doctors and the best scientists. We're going to be the best dancers and writers. We're going to be the best parents on the planet. We're going to be the best humans in the world, and we're going to be defined by love. And when people drink of our lives, you know, where did that wine come from? Because it's better than anything we've ever tasted in the world. There's another time that Jesus used strange material for a miracle. This one is kind of unusual, I think. But the other one is for me more interesting in some ways. It's in John chapter 9. It says, as Jesus went along, he saw a man blind from birth. His disciples asked him, Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Have you ever noticed that, like, theologians care more about who to blame than how to heal? Rabbi, who sinned? This man or his parents sinned that he was born blind? He was blind, but he wasn't deaf. He could hear them talking. And Jesus says, neither this man nor his parents sinned, but this happened so that the works of God might be displayed in him. As long as it is day, we must do the work of him who sent me. Night is coming when no one can work. While I'm in the world, I am the light of the world. And after saying this, he spit on the ground, made some mud with the saliva, and put it on the man's eyes. Go, he told him, wash in the pool of Siloam. This word means sent. So the man went and washed and came home seeing. His neighbors and those who had formerly seen him begging asked, isn't this the same man who used to sit and beg? Some others claimed that he was. Others said, no, he only looks like him. But he himself insisted, I am the man. How then were your eyes opened, they asked. He replied, the man they called Jesus made some mud and put it on my eyes. And then he told me to go to Siloam and wash. You ever wonder why Jesus healed like that? I mean, again, he's the God that doesn't need the water to turn it into wine. He can create, because he created the water, he can do it again. He didn't forget that one. And he could just touch the man and he would see, or he could just speak and his eyes would be open. He could just have a thought and that man's sight would be returned. Why go through all of this? I think some of it is God is an artist. And he wants to keep teaching us how to create out of our lives and through our lives, because all of us are works of art and artists at work. And so he starts spitting on the ground. And with spit, he takes dirt and he starts making mud. I've done some research. It takes a lot of spit to make mud. Okay, a lot of spit. And this isn't like dainty spit or anything like that. It's manly spit. It takes a lot of spit to make mud. And again, this guy's blind, but he's not deaf. He's hearing Jesus spit. I love like reading theologians on passages like this, trying to explain away what's happening. One of my favorites was, well, this was divine spit. You know, the divine spittle. It was God spit. This is the best you can do. Right? It's God spit. Look, spit is spit. I'm telling you that before God stepped into flesh, he wasn't spitting in eternity. This is man spit. Jesus being fully God, fully man, this is the fully man spit side. And spit, you may think, well, maybe it was cultural. Maybe spit was more valued back then, right? Because spit would sort of be at the bottom scale, don't you think? I mean, think about it. You have spit right now in your mouth. Feel it. I mean, it doesn't bother you. Without spit, you die. You'll dehydrate. You need spit. But there's a thing about spit where, I mean, imagine if someone else spit into a glass and then they said, we'll give you $1 million if you would drink that other person's spit. I just rather die poor than drink it, because someone else's spit would be horrible, right? But you know what's strange? If you spit into a glass, you wouldn't drink your own spit. it's only okay as long as it's inside. But once it's out, it's spit. I mean, it's not mine. Like, you ever just sneezed really bad? It's not mine. Right? Oh man, because it's spit, and that's what Jesus is using. This is his material, is spit. Couldn't he upgrade? Oil's a lot more elegant, right? Spit. And then dirt. He doesn't even upgrade the second material. It's spit and dirt. So he takes the dirt that they walk on every day. And he starts mixing it together, and he creates mud. And I can only imagine what the crowd was saying. Oh, I know what is going on here. What's he doing? He's a madman. And then he gets up and starts moving toward the blind man. I could just feel the crowd kind of moving away. And the blind man going, what's happening here? I feel he's moving toward me. And then Jesus puts the mud on the man's eyes. And here to me, this is the brutal moment. He says, all right, go and wash. Doesn't heal. He says, go to the pool of Siloam and wash. No promise. Wouldn't you expect a promise? Isn't so much of the way we try to convince people to follow Jesus is, here are the promises? No promise at all. Now this man who was blind is also humiliated. Well, what kind of person puts spit and dirt, creates mud, and puts it on a man's eyes, and then says, go wash at the pool of Siloam? And not only does he give him a command that's virtually impossible for him, he's blind, he doesn't even offer him any help. He doesn't appeal to the crowd, help this man get to the pool of Siloam. He doesn't invite one of his disciples to take on a new task. I mean, why doesn't he say, Bartholomew, take the man to the pool? I mean, really, what did Bartholomew ever do? He had no job. He did nothing of value. I mean, the guy is just nowhere. This would be Bartholomew's moment. I took the blind guy to the pool of Siloam. Remember me? That's why I'm one of the 12. Nothing. Go to the pool of Siloam and wash. Have you ever felt as if you were in a worse condition after you were touched by Jesus than before? Come on, let's be honest for a minute. Have you ever felt like you trusted God and he left you humiliated? I have. This is what we don't talk about, this period of life between the moment God cakes us with spit and dirt and the moment where we go to the pool of Siloam and wash. Where we're not really sure what's going to happen. There's so much uncertainty. I got a text from a really influential speaker who loves God, and his daughter was in an airplane and she crashed, or they crashed, and she crawled out of the plane over the person she loved. It was the only survivor of the plane crash. And we probably see the world a little differently. So I was surprised to get a text from him that says, hey, can we talk? So I said, sure, of course. And he said, hey, my daughter just went through this horrific accident and she's having a really difficult time. And not only is she physically struggling from all the third-degree burns, but her soul's really traumatized. And you're the only person she listens to on your podcast. And would you be willing to talk to her on the phone for a few moments? I said, are you crazy? Tell me where you live, and me and my daughter will get on the plane and we will fly anywhere you are. And we'll sit down and do anything we can. As if it was my daughter and someone could help her, I would do anything to get them here. Would you come? And I said, just ask her if she wants that. And he talked to her, and so she said yes. And so me and Mariah got on a plane and flew across the country and then drove several hours to their place. And we're there having a conversation, trying to help her reclaim a faith that was lost long before. And in the middle of that, I started getting all these emails because I had a company. I was in the film industry and in the fashion industry and the tech industry. And we were doing really, really well, and life seemed to be going beautifully. We had a ton of employees in different offices. And I got all these emails from lawyers telling me my business partner has decided to cut me out of the company. Took ownership of everything I'd worked for. And I lost everything in that moment. And in my mind, I'm like, God, I'm here across the country helping this family that I don't know. Trying to care for this girl that's someone else's daughter because this is what you've taught me. I've got my daughter here, and we're doing this out of love for you. And right now, you're going to do this right now. Oh, I know. God didn't do it. You're going to let this happen right now. Whichever is the right way of saying, God, why? And I'm trying to deal with this and care for this family, and I felt as if my gut had just been ripped out of my throat. And we're driving back to the airport, and I thought I was going to die. Just lost everything. Watched millions of dollars disappear in a second. I had to fly across the country, land back in LA, and sit down with my wife, who was an orphan. From the age of 8 to 18, she lived in a foster home, who was left starving in the government project, eating nothing but turnips and ketchup. The person that I love more than anyone in the world that I wanted to provide a home for, and some security and stability in life. And I had to fly across the country and sit down with my wife and say, I've lost everything. It was one of the most humiliating moments of my life. I felt like God had spit on the ground and mixed it with dirt and put mud on my face, and then told me to find my own way to the pool. And I stumbled through that moment. I couldn't eat for weeks. I lost like 20 pounds in 20 days, which now, looking back, was actually quite good for me. But I didn't feel good then. I couldn't hold food down. I remember when I looked at Kim and I said, I lost everything. My wife, without missing a beat, without blinking an eye, she looked at me and she said, I thought I was your everything. I said, who is this woman? I mean, who wrote this script for her? And she goes, we've been poor before, we'll be poor again, but we'll be fine. It's just a part of our journey together. And when she said, I thought I was your everything, I didn't know how to recover from that. I didn't have a really good response. So I said, I lost my other everything. And, you know what I'm talking about? The everything that pays for the other everything. And the everything that makes you feel like a man. The everything that makes you feel like you have value, the everything that makes you feel like God is with you, the everything that makes you feel like you're fulfilling your calling, the everything that makes you feel like your life matters, the everything that makes you get up in the morning, the everything that allows you to keep breathing. See, I lost all that. And for the next 12 months, and that was just 18 months ago, I had to take a loan on our house and pay back everything that was lost and finish every project that they didn't finish. And I just felt as if I was going to drown. And it was one of those moments in life where I felt like I was walking around with spit and dirt turned into mud, caked out in my eyes. And I was stumbling and crawling and walking in the dark, going, God, I don't know how to get to the pool of Siloam. By the way, for all of us Gentiles, that passage, John adds, Siloam means sent. And he puts that there so we can know that Siloam is this beautiful metaphor for the place of obedience. It's the pool of sent. It's the place you must go. And in this moment, Jesus is saying to this blind man, I want you to trust me. I want you to go to the pool. And if I were that guy, I would just be grabbing a lot of Jesus' leg, going, you're not going anywhere until you give me what I need. Because a lot of times what we want is we want to hide under the covers of Jesus when he's sending us to go. And we feel as if he's left us to our own devices. But when we trust him and we go in obedience to his voice, we find that God is the true master artisan who can take spit and dirt and create a mud that brings us the healing we so desperately need. What I love about this moment is that Jesus takes the most common material that we have, dirt, and by the way, God gave us that material before himself. And then he takes the most common material, the most base material, the most unviable material from the body of the Son of God, which is spit. And then he mixes it together and says, let me show you what I can do with the least viable ingredients in the world. And if that's what he could do with spit and mud, what in the world could he do with you? What in the world could he do with us? Some of us, we feel like water. We feel ordinary and common. And we just need to let Jesus, the master artist, make us work for it and turn us into wine. But I know there's some of you, you feel like you're just spit and dirt. You feel like you're just mud. But I love about the combination of spit and dirt, it's this beautiful reminder that if we just give God who we are and what we are, even if we feel like it's worthless, but we allow him to make us pliable and moldable and adapt, because what the mud has the capacity to do is to be shaped by the hands of God. And in that moment, everything changes. I'm on a crusade. I'm on a crusade to end this view of being human. It's all about standardization and conforming. It's all about the elimination of sin. It's all about what you shouldn't do. God didn't call us to obedience so that we could be puppets. The end game is not obedience, it's freedom. He calls us to obedience so that we can be free. And by the way, the end game isn't actually freedom, it's creativity. See, God wants us to trust him and obey his voice so that we might live free, so that we can create the life that he created us to live. You are a work of art. But now it's time to become an artist at work and realize that through you, someone else's life will become more beautiful. Through you, you will paint a future filled with hope and meaning and joy. You are the instrument that God has chosen to create the world he dreams of. The question now is, will you pick up the brush and begin to paint? I thank you, Father. There are 7 billion containers of beauty and wonder, of creativity and imagination, waiting to be touched by your hand so that we can become the material of a more beautiful world. I pray, Father, for each person within the sound of my voice, that they would realize that Jesus did not come to control them, but to liberate them. That the scriptures are not the material from which the world is to be standardized, but the scriptures are a manifesto of creativity. And it's time for us to hear your voice and live in that freedom. I pray that every person hearing my voice would dream and risk and create. This is my prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.
Long has it been since you went down to the field of glory and peace? Since you've held hands with the Savior, since you've knelt at his feet, since you felt what love feels like when forgiveness sets you free. Yeah, yeah. Is love the reason you go to the ones who've been cast aside? Is this love the reason you want to make a change in a broken world? Is this love the reason you care about living a holy life? Is this love the reason you pray? Is this love the reason you pray? The reason has it been since you went down to the river of life to fill up your cup? Since you've heard the voice you can only hear when you're still. Since you've kissed the one who took a cross for your sin, is His love the reason you go to the ones who've been cast aside? Is His love the reason you want to make a change in a broken world? Is His love the reason you care about living a holy life? Is His love the reason you pray? Is His love the reason you pray? The reason you pray. I was made to be free in your love for me. And I was made to feel your heart beating inside of me. And I was made to know you intimately. And I was made to be free in your love for me. And I was made to feel your heart beating inside of me. And I was made to know you intimately. I was made to be free in your love for me. And I was made to feel your heart beating inside of me. And I was made to know you intimately. Only love. Is His love the reason you go to the ones who've been cast aside? Is His love the reason you want to make a change in a broken world? Is His love the reason you care about living a holy life? Is His love the reason you pray? Is His love the reason you pray? The reason you pray. How long has it been since you went down into the river of life to fill up your cup? Since you've heard the voice you can only hear when you're still. Since you kissed the one who took a cross for your sin.
Next weekend, we have an amazing event lined up with Janus Labuskaghni, Rugby Weekend. By now, everyone probably knows what Rugby Weekend is. Yes, okay. We're getting applause, so that's a yes. Yeah, so next week, Saturday, we're going to be having like a rugby day event. Everyone's going to watch SA versus New Zealand on Saturday, and that's going to be at Storehouse. And then on the Sunday morning, we're going to have Janus Labuskaghni share his testimony with us here on stage. And I also want to invite everyone to go to the evening service. I know going to church twice on a Sunday, who does that? But the evening service is going to be at Storehouse, and that's also going to be an amazing event. Just to share in testimony and just to share in community, it's going to be amazing. The evening of the Saturday, we're going to be having gathering. Yes. I just love it. Like with each and every event, for everything I share, there's one person who knows. But for those that don't know, please come. It's an amazing time. We're going to be sharing in worship and just having fellowship together. It's going to be awesome. The weekend after that. Yes. Yes, we're going to have Sunday service next week. It's going. No. The morning, as I said, the morning we're going to have here with Janus Labuskaghni, and the evening we're going to have at Storehouse. Someone's not listening. So, the weekend after rugby weekend, I apologize, I'm sorry. The weekend after rugby weekend, we're going to be starting with a brand new series, and you guys might have seen the trailer now, Chasing Carrots, an absolutely amazing series about chasing after the right things. I'm just going to leave it there. And after that, I'm just taking you guys onto an after that and after that and after that. But there's so many exciting things lined up, that's why. We're going to be having mic drop, sorry. We're going to be having mic drop, which is kind of like an open mic event. I'm not going to elaborate too much because you have to be there. It's one of those things, you've got to be there. I can share a lot about it, but it's going to be amazing. We're very excited for the relaunch of Evening Experiences, which is going to be called Mic Drop, where people are going to be sharing their testimonies. We're going to be engaging in a lot of worship and singing songs. Everyone loves music. Next up, there's something very special. Sorry, I had to. There's more. That's why I took a pause, because this is really special. So I don't know who was here last week, but we spoke a bit about guest services. So we're going to be having a guest services info session after this for those that might be interested. And this is just a bit of a teaser to get you intrigued.
Excuse my neus, ek was besig agter. Well, welkom, cool man. Yeah, cool. Yes, your car kind of needs a wash, eh? Cool, see you inside.
No, you're not serious. You're not. Oh, just hang on a second. That way.
Oh, I love it. So, it's an 8-minute long video. So for those that want to watch the rest of it, please join us after the experience. I think we're going to be showing the video in here. So if you guys just stick around, you'll see it. Oh, we're going to be showing it next door. Wonderful. So yeah, please join us next door after the experience. I think we're going to wait about 10 minutes or so, and then we're going to move on to that. It's not going to be a very long session, so don't worry, we won't keep you for too long. It's just an information session to tell you guys a bit about what guest services is about and what we're about, and yeah, as you can see, it's a lot of fun, especially with Tian. And with that, we end the way we do, because we truly believe whoever finds God, amen. Thank you.